guys, so as many of you know, all of you Twitter bugs, I just got out of the hospital. And for those who don't know, I wanted to kind of explain this terrible lack of videos that I feel so terrible about. And kind of tell you guys what happened, because you guys have no idea how much love and support you guys have been overwhelming me with. Your guys' support is really what's gotten me through so much. I really just wanted to kind of take the time to apologize and to explain to you and kind of update you guys on what's been happening. I was there for the meetups in New York City at 2 Sephora's, and the hotel that we're in doesn't have freaking Wi-Fi. It's all shut down. So of course, naturally, I go downstairs and I go across the street to Starbucks, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna upload via Wi-Fi Starbucks because I upload my daily videos. Well, of course, everyone in freaking New York City is using that Starbucks' Wi-Fi, and it says 1,500 hours until uploaded. I'm like, great, this isn't gonna happen. So needless to say, I'm really upset about that. But also the meetups were amazing. I'm not going to tell you about them right now. I was going to vlog during it, but because of Sephora's policies, we're not supposed to videotape in there. But rest assured, once the last meetup happens, I'm going to put together a collage of photos and talk about it and everything, so that those of you who couldn't make it can still experience it, and then maybe even talk about new meetups in different places in the future for those of you who live somewhere else. Meetups were amazing, but what happened is that I was hospitalized in New York City the day of the last meeting. So what happens is the last meeting was in Sephora Meatpacking, which is a district in New York City. And what happened that day, I was wearing heels, and they were very, very cute, but they were absolutely killing my feet. And the unfortunate thing is that during this whole event, I couldn't really leave and stuff like that. And I didn't really want to leave, you know what I mean? But I needed something for my feet. So I was talking to the Sephora girls who were so sweet. I was like, does anybody have Advil? Does anyone have a painkiller or something like that? And one of the girls said, I don't have Advil. I have a prescription Advil. She had dental work done, and she said it was prescribed to her by her dentist, but it was just a high dose of Advil. Please guys, never, ever, 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 ever take somebody else's prescription. Never, because you never know what's in it. My doctor has prescribed me with a very extreme dose of Advil before, just because of, you guys know I have knee problems and premature rheumatoid arthritis. We don't know, it's really confusing. For my knee problems, she prescribed me that. So even though I had never seen this tablet before, I thought, okay, I'll take it, it should all be fine. And I was really grateful that she even offered me that, because I couldn't run across the street. Everything went amazing. Also, I had lunch, which I Instagrammed a photo of it for you guys. It was a quiche and a salad. The salad and hot chocolate were amazing, but this quiche, it was good, but I could tell it was reheated. You know how if you put something in the microwave, it's half frozen still and then half warm? The warm part was great, but the half frozen part was just bleh. So I could tell that it was not all with it. And I was I'm really paying $20 for a lunch like this, but I was just so excited to get back to the meetup. I was like, yes, let's just eat and go. So the meetup went amazing. The meetup ended, and I'm on my way back to the hotel, and I was not feeling too good. And honestly, I get car sick really easy. 5 minutes in the car, I'll be sick if I'm looking at my phone or something. So I'm in the car looking at my phone. I start feeling queasy, and I'm okay, I have to put down the phone. I just, look out the window. But I'm starting to feel a little bit nauseous, and I get back to the room, and I get super, super sleepy. And I'm not a nappy person, but I went and I took a nap. So it was about 9 o'clock in this hotel. And all of a sudden, I wake up and I start feeling really nauseous. And I'm I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to throw up. And this is going to be really, really explicit. So if you guys are really, really queasy, I don't recommend listening. Go bye-bye. And I'm safe now. So you guys were there for me. That's what matters. If you're queasy, go bye-bye. I started feeling really queasy at about 9 p.m. And I was I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to throw up. And I started spewing chunks. And thank goodness I made it to the toilet. I was just bleh. And my entire lunch, I was there for probably 10 minutes the first round, and I was just going over and over and over. And my mom called me on the phone just to say hi and stuff. And the unfortunate thing was that I couldn't even talk to her. I hung up the phone on her, which I felt really bad about, because you can't really barf and talk at the same time. It doesn't really work like that. This bird is doing it again. We have a pet bird here. You see this bird? He likes to intentionally hit himself on our window. Hey Mew. What should we name this bird? He does this, and I always think that he's like some psychotic bird and that he's gonna have mental problems and he's gonna hurt himself. He's been doing this for about a year now. He just sits here and he thinks it's amusing. I really don't know. Weird psychotic birds aside, now my cat decides to bother. Yes, Schnooks, I hear you. So anyways, I start throwing up uncontrollably and now I feel awful. So I lay back to bed and lo and behold, about 10 minutes later, I realized that I accidentally went to the bathroom on myself. And that's not something I do regularly. So I was, needless to say, very, very embarrassed. I'm gonna tilt you guys that way. Tilty. So I get in the shower to wash everything off and I'm feeling icky. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on, right? I'm like washing myself down in the shower, step out of the shower, and what do you know, I go to the bathroom on myself again. So of course I wash myself up again. This time when I get out of the shower, I'm like, you know, my last meal was lunch. I'm really not feeling very good. I should probably have some M&Ms because I've been throwing up. There's no food in my belly. So the hotel has like those little refrigerator things. I go in there's some peanut M&Ms, which I like. So I eat some peanut M&Ms, whatever. I go back to sleep. Well, I start waking up and every single time I would get up, like sit up or stand up, I would have this uncontrollable nauseous feeling. I would start spewing chunks. So lo and behold, I sit up again and I start throwing up. And this time, not only am I throwing up M&Ms, but I'm pooping out peanut M&Ms. And they're not completely whole, like the color is gone and everything, but I can tell that that was a peanut M&M that just came out of my butt. And that is not okay with me. Like I was kind of freaking out at that point. Also, by this point, I'm running to the bathroom, I'm going to the bathroom on myself, I'm jumping in the shower, I'm laying back in the bed, and now when I sit up, not only am I nauseous, but I started getting like black and white fuzzies in my eyes. Like I started seeing these fuzzy spots, and then soon it turned into I actually started fainting. I would sit up because I feel this nauseous spell coming on, and I have to run to the bathroom because I think that I'm about to go poopy on myself, and my face, like my entire eyes just go black, and I wake up 10 minutes later laying on the bed or laying on the floor. So I'm running to the bathroom, crud-muffining myself, vomiting up nothing by this point. Like there's nothing more that I have in my belly. And by this time, because there's nothing left, the stuff that I'm throwing up is like green. And I don't know what that means. I think it's probably stomach acid. But then it started getting a little bit bloody. And I didn't know this at the time, but the reason for that is because my stomach was trying to get stuff out of it so fast, and the same colors were coming out the other end. Like, it just didn't want to be my friend, I guess. The reason that this was happening was because my body was working so hard to get anything and everything out that the tissue in my stomach was actually getting kind of destroyed and ruined. So, needless to say, I was throwing up, I was this, I was that, I was fainting, and by this time I thought, you know what, I'm really thirsty, I'm probably dehydrated or electrolytes. My thought was electrolytes, because I know that when you throw up you lose electrolytes, those things that you lose when you exercise as well. So I go back in this mini bar and I get out some vitamin water. I'm like, yeah, I'm electrolytes, I'm cool, I'm gonna be fine. Needless to say, I throw up all these electrolytes, so I was not feeling good. So from the hours of 7 p.m. until about 11 p.m., because here's the thing, I felt bad enough to go to the hospital, but I know that I have insurance in California. I don't know about New York. But it started about 7, 8 p.m. and it went all the way until about 11 p.m. So I just got progressively worse, and it started off vomiting, diarrhea, and then all of a sudden I'm fainting, I'm dizzy, and I just can't take it anymore. And all of a sudden I realized like my fingers were like shaking, like even if I tried I couldn't hold them still. And it wasn't like they were really bad, like I was about to fly away or something. It was just that I couldn't hold them still, and they were like slowly jittering, and I was like, what is going on? So I called the front desk and I was like, I need a lot of help. I just got out of the shower. That's right, I was in the shower trying to wash stuff off my body, and I keep on fainting. Every single time I stand up, every single time I sit up, I start fainting. I'm fainting on the floor. I fell in the shower, and that's when I knew that it was really serious, because you can hit your head in the shower and drown. You can drown in like 2 inches of water. So that's when I called the front desk. When I got back in the bed, I was laying there, I was like, can you please call an ambulance? So I'm waiting, I'm puking, I'm fainting, I'm going to the bathroom on myself, and by this point, I'm not going to get in the shower and wash it off. I'm just laying in this bed. What a nap turned into, you know what I mean? So 30 minutes later, I call the front desk again. I say, I really need help. Someone please help me. And they said, okay, we'll call an ambulance, And I start getting on the phone with my boyfriend because he has friends in New York City. He was out with his friends. I was supposed to go out with a friend that I knew, but obviously I took a nap and wasn't feeling too good. But it wasn't until my boyfriend from freaky-deakin' halfway across New York called from his cell phone 911 that the ambulance came. And by that time, I was so freaky-deakin' scared because I have insurance in California. I don't know if I have insurance in New York. I have no clue. And I know that an ambulance ride alone is $2,000. Medical bills are thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's a big chunk of change that I can't really afford $500,000 in medical bills. And I was afraid that if insurance doesn't cover this, what am I going to do? What is my family going to do? Which is why I held off for so long. But needless to say, these medical people came. They couldn't get like the stretcher into the elevator because it was like really a weird elevator. So they bring like this gurney chair, and they come in there, and I am shaking. I can't sit up straight. When they get in there, I try to sit up and explain what's going on, and I completely faint again. So by this time, of course, I'm in the shower. I was in the shower, so I'm not really wearing clothing. So they go running around trying to find clothing for me, which I put on, etc. And they start asking me kind of what happened. I kind of explained that I ate some bad food, that I took someone else's medication, that I thought it was okay. And then they took my temperature. And I remember they asked me a couple different questions. I was just shaking at this point because I was so scared. And when they took my temperature, I don't remember what it was. I'm going to be completely honest. I know they said 100 something. Could have been 100, could have been 101, 100 and something. It could have been 110. I don't know. But I remember that they said that, and they said that it was very urgent that I get to the hospital even if I didn't have medical insurance, because I also said I've been trying to drink electrolytes and stuff like that, and I told them I only have one kidney. I was just born with one kidney, and they said that this was a very extreme. My kidney could be shutting down and I could be dying, so that I needed to go to the medical hospital. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So, needless to say, they put me in this gurney chair and they like strap me in, and I'm like shaking because I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't have medical insurance in New York, I don't think. I don't know what's going on. I'm scared. I sit up and they put me in this chair and I almost faint again, and then they like push my head down so it's like between my knees, and then blood flow or whatever flows back to my brain and I'm okay. Needless to say, they get me in this chair, down the elevator, and they strap me onto this gurney, and there's like a crowd of people out there, and I was just like shaking. I was like, this can't be happening. So I'm just sitting there like crying in my stretcher. They're wheeling me out of the hotel into this ambulance. Lights are flashing. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I'm hysterical. I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. And I remember driving to the hospital, and I don't even remember getting into the hospital. I don't remember arriving at the hospital. From what the doctor and people told me, the doctor thought I was a psychiatric patient, someone who had mental problems. I know my birthday very well. It's 11/11/92. I told them September 1992. And I remember I wanted to see the Twin Towers while I was in New York, which happened on September 11th. But I know my birthday is 11/11, not 9/11. But they said that I was hallucinating. They said that I wanted my cat back. Like, I know my cat is there. They asked me where I had come from. I didn't say the hotel. I said, why am I in Sephora? Get me out of this bed. Why is there a bed in Sephora? I'm like going neurotic, which I have no recollection of whatsoever. So obviously I must have been either freaking out, or they said I could have been hallucinating because of the medication that I was having a reaction to. They said that it was possible that I was just under shock or extreme whatever. Needless to say, they shoved me on a gurney bed, they shoved me in the thing, and I do vividly remember, I'm deathly afraid of needles. You cannot put needles near me. I vividly remember they were trying to get this needle in me, and I was screaming, and I was like crying, and I was like shaking, and they had to have people like hold me down. I remember begging for someone to hold my hand, because I always have someone hold my hand if I'm gonna get like a shot or something like that. And I remember begging somebody, some nurse, one of these people around me to just hold my hand. And this doctor looks at me and she says, you're a big girl, just suck it up and let us put the needle in you. And I'm just like, by this time, I'm like even more freaked out. Like, even if I am a psychiatric patient, even if I was like not all there with it, she can treat her patients with respect. I was just, yes, I am a big girl, but you know what? I'm afraid of needles. I'm sorry, lady, butthole, fat face doctor, like whatever. I don't like her. okay? The nurse was really nice. His name was, I think it was John. I don't really remember. It could have been Scott. It could have been Daniel, for all I know. He was really nice though, but they got this needle in me and it hurt. So, and it wasn't one that went in and out. It stayed in me, like it was an IV. So needless to say, I'm waiting in this hospital all night long, and by this time it's about Sunday morning. So they put this IV in me and they tell me they're going to give me fluid. The thing that was so urgent is that because I was born with just one kidney, the dehydration, kidneys need a lot of water to survive. And because I only have one, being so dehydrated I couldn't keep water down, my kidney could have and was about to shut down because there was no fluid in me. My body, there was nothing left. I was fainting and lightheaded and dizzy because I could not get blood and water to my brain to make it function. And when a kidney is under that much stress, who knows what's going to happen? So they put an IV in me and they say, they have these big bags. You ever see people in the hospital, they have these bags of fluid. They say, we're going to put some of these in you. It's basically hydration and it goes straight into your body. It's like drinking water, but it gets into your body faster. And this hydration, they said, you're going to have to go to the bathroom after about 2 of these. So once they get the IV in me, I start getting really, really cold, really, whatever. They put like 10 blankets on me, and by this time they put a diaper on me because I'm still going to the bathroom on myself. I'm not throwing up in the hospital anymore, but there's just bathroom going everywhere. It was wretched. And they say that after the second one, I'm going to start feeling better, or that I'm going to have to go to the bathroom, go number 1 instead of number 2, you know what I mean? And I'm there into wee hours of the morning, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a.m., and I still have not gone to the bathroom. And instead of putting 2 or 3 in like they thought, they ended up putting 7 of the saline, which is a salt solution, and they ended up putting 2 of the sugar, which is like a sugar solution. And that all in all is 9, and that's like 9,000 cc's of liquid, 9 of those bags. Most people get 2, but that shows you how dehydrated I was. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know that they took my pulse, and I remember after like 2 or 3 bags, my pulse was something like 40 or 42 or 44 over 60, 70 something, I don't know, which is super, super low. Like that's unbelievably low. Once they started putting the bags of fluid in me, it was like 50 over something else, I don't remember. It wasn't until they actually put the sugar in me, which was like basically food. They were feeding me through this IV with like sugar water. It wasn't until they did that it went to a normal level of like 60 something over maybe like 90. I don't know exactly what the numbers were. I don't know what they mean, but I know it was something like that, and it really freaked me out. And the worst part was that I couldn't get a hold of my boyfriend. His phone was dead. I'm freaking out because I don't know if I have medical insurance or not. So things were just absolutely ridiculous. So I go to bed, they asked me, they said that after the second bag I was going to have to go to the bathroom. I still hadn't gone to the bathroom, so they asked me, can you please do a urine sample? And I was like, okay. So I go in there and I try really hard to get a little bit of urine sample for them to test, which thank goodness I was able to. But I go back to the bed and I'm just feeling terrible. And needless to say, I was kind of there for quite a while. Finally, my boyfriend comes in, he brings me flowers, and then once my mom and dad find out something is going on, they're like, oh my gosh, because they're in California. I don't know if there's medical insurance. I don't know what to do. The hospital reassures me that whether or not there's insurance, that I'm going to be treated, that I'm going to live, and that insurance will probably cover it. Because the insurance that I have is basically worldwide. It follows me wherever I go, so hopefully they'll be able to cover it. So needless to say, my mom and dad get on the flight, they come over, it takes like 8.5 hours, but they get there, my boyfriend's there, and I'll tell you guys something, when my boyfriend wasn't there, my parents were on their way over, I had all this time just to myself. There was nothing I could do. There was this guy that lit himself on fire and came in, and I was like shocked. I was like, oh my god, is he gonna be okay? And the hospital staff was like, yeah, he's been in here 8 times. I was like, are you kidding me? I got so many amazing gifts this weekend in New York. You guys are so sweet and so caring to put these things together, and what happened is that the only one that I had with me was one that I got the very last day, and it was in my purse, and I took my purse there. So I didn't have all my notes with me, but I had one. And honestly, through that time where I was alone, shaking, freezing, with needles that I don't like in my arm for how many hours of the wee night and morning, Saturday to Sunday, this letter, this is the only one I had on me, and this got me through so much. I read this over and over and over, and then I was like looking at photos from the weekend and like Instagramming things. This is just a letter from a girl named Jess, and this was just like one of the sweetest, most thoughtful things, and I probably memorized it by now, but this was just the note that was with me. And this got me through so much. Like, I just read this all night when I was feeling okay, and I Instagrammed things, and it warmed my heart so much that she was able to write this up and to premeditate coming to see me, and she watches my videos every day, and I met her mom, and I met so many other amazing moms too and people this weekend, and I don't want this to be, I'm going to talk about this in a meetup video, so that'll all come in the future once all the meetups are done for everyone. Hi Schnooks, are you coming to say hi? I'm so happy to have my Schnucklepuff back, but just because this one was handwritten, it was typed up, it was put together so kindly, just because I had this one on me, it got me through so much, along with Instagram and talking to you guys via email. I answered so many emails. Well, needless to say, they stopped putting IVs in me. I'm about to miss my flight. So they are like, okay, are we going to admit you, whatever, da-da-da-da. My parents finally get there. I'm with my boyfriend. Everything's fine. They finally say, okay, you're free to go. They wanted to keep me for a lot longer, but I couldn't. I had to go. You know, I was supposed to film a commercial on Monday, and on Tuesday I was supposed to go to LA and talk to a doctor and make a video for you guys. Of course that didn't happen because I was in the hospital. So needless to say, my boyfriend and my parents run to the hotel room, scoop up all my stuff. The hospital says, you can go. I run out the door in a wheelchair basically, and I jump on a flight to San Francisco. And I felt like such a burden because in the entire airport, people were like grabbing me a wheelchair and all this stuff. Oh, do you guys want to hear a story? So I was wearing this in the airport, right? Because I came directly from the hospital. And because I've been going to the bathroom on myself, I was wearing a diaper, right? Well, little do I know that this dress thing is open in the back so that hospital people can like clean you. I didn't know that. So I'm walking around the airport. My feet are swollen because all the fluid they put in me, there was so much of those IVs that it went all down to my legs and stuff. My feet are like swollen. So I'm hobbling around the airport. They're kind enough to get me a wheelchair. And it wasn't until the flight lady comes over to me and says, you need to close your back, that I realized. Because everyone in the airport was staring. I was like, wow, people have a staring problem. She told me that my entire back of my gown was open and everyone could see my little adult diaper. I was like, are you kidding me? Most embarrassing moment of my life. I bet you someone out there has a video of this and they're gonna put it on YouTube and you guys are gonna go see me walking around in a diaper, like freaking out that I'm gonna miss my flight with my boyfriend and my parents like trying to grab wheelchairs and stop me from falling over and freaking and attacking other flight people, okay? Anyways, oh my God. As many times as Delta is late, as many times as they've lost luggage and stuff like that, I have to say they have some of the best flight attendants and staff and pilots I have ever met. They are so professional, so kind, so understanding, and so caring. So I speed through security. You know, my boyfriend, he was on a different flight, and so were my parents, but thank God, you know, they didn't get charged late fees, because normally it's late if you miss a flight, but because they had letters that said that they accompanied me, they were able to get through. Freaking deakin', thank goodness. So I'm sitting on the flight, and I'm a tall person. 6'0" here. So if I fly, I have to fly business class or I have to fly economy comfort. And what that means is that those seats have more leg room because I can't like squeeze up in a little ball and, you know, really annoy the people on both sides of me. So I had a economy comfort seat with the long space legs because I always have to have that when I fly. They were kind enough to move me up to business class, which I was very, very thankful for. And what was amazing is that the flight attendants were constantly asking me how I was doing, how I was feeling, all this stuff. And on the flight, I was freaking out because I still haven't uploaded. I'm so upset. I have to go to the bathroom a couple of times because I have to change my own diaper, which was awful. I never recommend it. Like, please, you guys, never take someone else's medicine and don't eat bad food. So I'm basically going to the bathroom on myself on the plane. I feel awful for the people next to me, and you know, this is business class, so people there they're usually business people, not people that want to sit next to someone who's going to the bathroom in their own pants, okay? I remember one time I got up and I started feeling really lightheaded and I almost passed out, and the flight attendants were all there for me. Anyways, nonetheless, I get home, we go home, and I have to go back to the doctor, back get testing, back and get ultrasounds and figure out what's going on. Basically, what happened is that I had a very extreme case of nasty food poisoning, which was trying to get everything out of my body and which is why I was feeling so sick. On top of this medication, I'm allergic to Vicodin, basically. I had my wisdom teeth taken out and we figured out that I had an allergy to Vicodin. They gave me Vicodin for the pain, and at that time, how many years ago, I started having hallucinations and reactions, so I'm allergic to it. They said that this pill that I took was probably more than Advil. It was probably a very high dose of Advil with Vicodin or with oxycodone, mixed, other painkillers. So basically I had an allergic reaction to this medication, which was causing me hallucinations and stuff, and then my body was trying to throw up because of this food poisoning, and it was trying to get this toxic stuff out of my body because it was too much for me. Because you know, you're prescribed medication by your weight. My weight might have been different, or it was just too much for my body to handle. And my kidneys and the liver are what process these medication. My kidney and liver couldn't process this. Also, because I was throwing up so much and because I was going to the bathroom so much, there was no liquid in my body. Completely dehydrated. And if you don't have dehydration, your kidneys will shut down. If you have kidney failure or if you don't have water, 5 minutes, your kidneys will shut down. And I only have one. And 5 minutes, bam, you're dead. Like, there's no going back. And I was that close to, that's basically how I almost died in New York City. Because my body couldn't process this medication. I was throwing up so much, I had no fluids, and my kidney could have almost shut down because of the dehydration. So needless to say, I just got back. I'm still waiting for medical results, going in and out of the hospital, going in and out of doctor's appointments, ultrasound for my upper abdomen to see why there's so much pain, because I'm having a lot of pain in this area, which could be part of the barfing and the repetitive blood stuff. Needless to say, I love you guys, and I'm so happy to be home. And I got flowers, and people are just so nice, and you guys have really, like, that letter, along with all the other letters, along with all the photos, and all of you guys have really just made this possible for me, just to, like, be sane and responding to your emails and your love and support. And I knew that we were, like, YouTube family best friends, but I never could have imagined you guys would have been there for me like that. And it brings tears to my eyes. Like, I was crying so much this weekend. But before this becomes a sob story, also today, or Monday and Tuesday, thank God I had 2 videos saved and ready to upload. Thank the Lord Jesus that I had 2, because I'm all out now. Like, I had to film this video today, otherwise I couldn't have put it up. And you guys know how much it means to me to put up a video every day. That's why I was so mad that I couldn't put up a video in NYC, because of the Wi-Fi. I was beating myself up about it, and I'm so sorry that I didn't get to do that. But now, you know, I had 2 videos that I can put up instead. So I had to film this today to get to you, and I am feeling so much better. I'm not allowed to eat food, and you guys know I'm a hungry hippo. I love to eat, and it's really unfortunate, but I'm not allowed to eat food. I have to have clear liquids like broth and Gatorade and tea and more Gatorade. It's like, oh boy, it sounds like a delicious meal, don't you think? And like saltine crackers. Like, I can't eat solid food for a little while, but I'm just so happy to be home. I'm so happy to see my schnooks. I'm so happy because I'm feeling a lot better. I'm talking, I'm sitting up. I have to get out of this because it's really, ew. But I'll be able to film tomorrow, hopefully, and hopefully we can go from there. So again, guys, I am so sorry for the lack of videos, but I wanted to thank you so much for your love and support, and the support of my boyfriend, and the support of my parents. Oh, that's the other thing. Something happened between my boyfriend and I in New York City. We basically broke up, so I needed to film a video about that. It's a long story, which I will tell you guys, but it's insane. Like, it's intense. And there was one girl, someone that actually kind of like got me all through it. It's a long story. We'll talk about it in another video if you want to see it, because if you don't, I'm not going to like blab about something you guys don't want to hear. But I wanted to update you with this, tell you that I love you, that I will be doing videos, that I'm sorry for not doing videos, and kind of explain what happened, and really let this be a lesson. Unless you want to die, do not take someone else's medication. The food poisoning I couldn't have helped, but I knew you never take someone else's prescription. I know that, and it was so stupid that I did. Like, even though I thought I knew what it was, even though I thought that I'd taken it before, you never know what's going to happen. And how many, oh yeah, insurance is going to cover it, thank the Lord Jesus, but how many hours of hospital excruciating IVs and ICU and monitors and stuff like that later did we find that out? So please, guys, stay safe. I love you guys so much. I never want you to go through this, because I pretty much almost died in New York City, and I still love this city. I always will. I love New York City, and Central Park is in bloom. I didn't even get to see Central Park, though, because I was laid up in a hospital with butt-faced doctors not holding my hand while shoving needles up into my arm. So I love you guys so much. Sorry this video is so long, but for those of you who didn't know or didn't understand, now you do. So I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.